Speaking of things that could have been an email, sir, we finally got that freaking update for Xbox. And
I know.
okay, can you? Is it possible, Joe? We're a podcast. We're small fries compared to Xbox, right?
Sure, sure.
We're an ant to next to the boot, right? Compared to Xbox. Um, how is it that we can have a conversation, you and I, and sometimes TJ, I don't know.
Yep.
uh,
Friend of the show.
yeah, and actually like talk about stuff. These guys were out there for like 25 minutes and said nothing.
Oh, for sure.
What? And it goes back to I don't know if you had a moment to watch Ryan McCaffrey's or the IGN Unlocked podcast
No.
for last week.
No, I know you said so. I haven't
Right.
yet.
So, well, the so he said that the problem is messaging, right? And I find it really funny, right? That this guy scheduled this thing, and we've been waiting for a week and a half. It's like, oh my goodness, what's this thing gonna be like? This is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be like a major blockbuster announcement thing. I told you guys last week, Xbox is not going anywhere, and I,
You did.
and we knew it. I knew it, right? They're not, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that a lot of people made a big deal about games coming to Xbox. Now, I do want to point something out, Joel. That's not the same feel. That's not the same feel that we've seen
Mm-hmm.
before.
Oh, 100%.
That he seemed I don't want to say defeated, but he didn't seem like in the zone. Um, I think Matt Booty tried his best to kind of like steer the narrative. Um, and you can tell that Sarabon is like an Activision person. Unfortunately, right? It was very corporate, very
Yeah.
you know, this wasn't. This was like if it doesn't feel like this was for the fans to for them to come out and clarify what's
Yeah.
the rumors, right? And which is really dumb. Again, that they made a big deal about a special edition podcast and whatnot. When 2 days ago, we'll talk about Sony here, but 2 days ago, Sony had their thing. It's like, oh yeah, this thing's happening, and we're looking at something else. So yeah, that's what's up, and they just kept moving. That's controlling the narrative, right? If Sony if something like this would have leaked, Sony would have put a blog post. They wouldn't have.
Oh,
It's like
totally.
they wouldn't have hyped fans. It's like wait for the next thing. And the wait for E3, and
Oh
and
my gosh.
and and uh, and then come out and said nothing. It's like because like they didn't mention the games, right? There's speculation of what the games are like, right? Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves and Pentiment. But what are the games? Like what it's the messaging is not clear. Like what is
Right.
it? It's like what are you guys trying to do? And I know that is probably not for the average consumer to know these things, but to the hardcore fans, I think that out of respect to the fans, they should have been clear on their message. But what do you think? We'll keep discussing this here.
Yeah. Well, first thing is reigniting the conversation we had from last week, which was like you very were clearly saying like, yo, they're not looking on a good track. Like it's not looking good, but um they're not going anywhere. Like they're gonna keep powering through to the end. And I remember saying last week, like this is a good sign that there's signs of life and them trying to do stuff and like saying like the statement that says, "Oh, we're gonna have this thing and we hear you guys and we're gonna address things and whatever." And I'm like, okay, then like they're showing that like they're gonna go down with a fight a little bit and not just hang up shop and like
Right.
basically people were trying to like over sensationalize a little bit. It's like it's the end is nigh and like those kind of stuff. It's like not yet, like not yet. But to your point, I think the major thing with seeing the way Phil Spencer did a 360 going around, not really addressing the elephant in the room the way that we probably expected, was also a sign of politics going on at the Microsoft offices, because that shows that out there is not a consensus on where they want to go, and there's probably a lot of division and
Right.
probably a lot of people having different opinions on which way to go, and he's just not gonna say yet what decisively it is because he doesn't have the authority to say yet what they're doing. He just wanted to reignite the fandom. Um, and there's positives and negatives of that, because showing up and talking about and saying that our next console is going to be like a powerhouse and this kind of stuff, like you're okay, like people are basically hearing in their ears, Xbox is making another console, they're sticking around. But when you start then talking about, well, we have like four games that are going to be non-exclusive that were, and then okay, but Indiana Jones isn't, and that's going to be for sure still coming just to Xbox. Like it's the dance, it's the unknown still, and leaves people to speculate. And I don't know, man. Like I think that they had a really good opportunity to put to bed a few things,
Right.
and if we heard from them say like, no, we're gonna do this thing, we're gonna hold all the way through, we all would have been pumped about it, and we would have expected, certain things. And I understand things change between public side and then afterwards. So they could have said like, we're right now they could be saying like, we're doing another console, and then we find out another press release like
Right.
that ain't happening. But it just feels like they didn't know what they really want to say because there's no consensus right now in the Microsoft offices. That's how I interpret it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely, you can tell that there's politics, and even feels like body language was different. Like
Oh,
it was
sure.
it was like,
He's been told something.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, I mean, overall it's not the complete meltdown that a lot of people were expecting. So for hardcore fans, I think that that's a positive. But if you read between the lines, there's there's something brewing, and
Yeah.
again, they're not gonna go anywhere. They're gonna keep doing their thing. Their new console's gonna come out. Maybe they're gonna come out with a handheld, kind of like the Steam Deck,
Right.
and that's all great, right? But it's just that their messaging is so cloudy, and I just think that even them are not like sure of what the messaging should be and what the roadmap is. Like if you know
Yeah.
Microsoft is a roadmap company. Like these guys are like road mapping like crazy, right? And then every other year they change the name of their products to something else, and then they revert it back for some weird
Right.
reason. And
Right.
it's they operate like that, right? And we're well, like if you use their products extensively, and I'm not just talking about Windows, right? Because you do see it in Windows, but
Totally.
if you use Teams, Office, if you uh, use any of the Azure stuff, any if you know Entra ID, if you use any of that, right? You know it, you know. So the I feel like the four games, right, was kind of like a cop out, but it seems like when Phil was talking about, oh, this is the four games and what the reason, why these four games are selected is because they're a games as a service kind of thing, and they're over a year old.
Yeah.
So could this mean that in a year Starfield could come and not immediately? Like could this mean that Starfield could come out in Christmas or early next year, right, on PlayStation? Because it's over a year and it's a game as a service technically. So there's a possibility, right? I'm if it doesn't come, I'm indifferent towards it. It's not my type of game. I don't care for it, right?
Right.
So it's fine. Again, I want Hi-Fi. It's like I want Hi-Fi Rush. It's like that cool little game that you guys have there. That's
Right.
what I want, and I know I can play on PC, and I could have bought it on PC a long time ago. I just don't want to play on my PC. I want to play on a console. So
Right.
yeah, man, it feels like, and all three of them I think out of the three, Matt Booty seemed the more comfortable in his position, right?
Oh, totally.
Phil, like, he was laying back. He was kind of like, like, you could tell his body language was like he was very uncomfortable being there. I don't know why, right? When he's like very charismatic usually,
Oh yeah.
um, and then Sarah was very corporate, like, oh, it's like growth and this thing, like, it's talking, buzzwords, and she was there for the shareholders, and like, and then
Keep our department funded.
right, and then Phil was there for the fans, right, and Matt was kind of like the in between that felt a little bit more relatable
Hmm.
in that position. So I just think that even if they come out to clarify stuff and they don't clarify anything. It's like, but
Come
why
on,
do they?
guys.
Okay, if it's here's the thing, right? If the games that are coming out are smaller games as a service type of thing, what was the need for all this, right?
Yep.
And I know that they like there's no need. Like if Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves are coming out for other platforms, there's no need for this thing.
No.
There's no need to be so defensive. There's no need to be so, I guess, shroud the whole thing in mystery. There's no need for it, right? Just let it run, right? And I think, based on what they said, they didn't want to talk about the games because they're going to be revealed. They probably have an agreement with Nintendo that they have Nintendo has a Nintendo Direct coming up in, I guess, in a couple weeks, and my understanding is that Hi-Fi Rush is one of the games that's gonna be shown in that direct, and then the same day the PlayStation version is gonna get announced. So it's like, what? Okay, just let it happen. You don't have to come out
Correct.
and make it a bigger deal. It's like,
Correct.
what, just let it run. If the fans are spreading rumors and talking and whatnot, it's like, oh, this could have been an email. This could have been a blog post. It's like you make a post saying, "Listen, we listen and we're gonna do this thing." It's like, oh no, there's like four Xbox games are coming to the platforms, but Xbox is committed to being the platform of choice for the fans, and we continue to look to future iterations of whatever Xbox is. Right? That's it.
That's it.
You don't
Shut
need to
down.
come out here like all frowny face Phil, like, yeah, people are spreading rumors. I don't like it. Well, that's how he felt to me.
Mm.
And
Well, Phil Spencer knows that there's also a lot of heat towards him right now too. Like out of all the people in there people are calling for him to say he needs to step down. He needs to
right.
not be there anymore because he's not brought that faith to the fan base. So it's probably personal too.
Yeah, yeah. But it feels like he could have been a little bit more like I don't feel like he was rude, right? What uh when Tina asked him about it, it's like, hey, so Phil, so I was gonna. It's like, straight up, I gotta tell you, it felt like
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
it's like, straight up, I gotta tell you guys that 4 games are coming, and this is what it is, right? So I don't know. That's how he felt to me.
Pouty, pouty. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
And then and then Tina was like, well, are two of those games Starfield and Indiana Jones? No. it it's it felt so weird, right? And then you got Matt here over here going, it's like, okay, well, let's soften this
Right.
down a little bit, right? Let's go ahead and try to agree and disagree and what we're trying to do. And then Sarah was like, numbers and subscriptions and future buzzwords and synergy and like dropping the corporate buzzwords. So
Yep.
it
Yep.
was just very strange. It was just very, very strange.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. I, again, I don't think Xbox is going anywhere. You guys
No.
don't need to. I said it last week. Um, they're not gonna go full third party as many said they would. Um, I don't think we ever said that they're gonna full stop just abandon ship and do a Sega and
Correct.
you know. But there were rumors out there, and credible rumors. So
Yeah.
um, I'm I guess I'm glad that they have clarified that to the fans and to the rest of I guess the gaming community that was looking forward to this news. Now you're leaving us with more questions. it's like is there a certain criteria for these games to come out? And if the next Xbox is gonna be the biggest leap in technology. I mean, we're talking NES to Super NES kind
Yeah.
of change,
Yeah.
right? It's like I, I don't know, man. It's like
Could
what
be.
are we doing, right? So you know, she said holiday probably. That's we'll
Yeah.
probably um hear about the redesigned Series X probably in June when they do the games,
Yeah.
the Summer Games Fest or whatever. And yeah, I guess we'll go from there because it's all very strange. But
Wild stuff, man.
yeah,